The Mandalorian arrives with Grogu on Tython and finds the ancient temple on top of a mountain. He places Grogu at the center so that he may choose his path. Grogu starts meditating, and a protective force shield appears around him. Boba Fett arrives with the mercenary Fennec Shand, whose life he saved on Tatooine, and demands the return of his Mandalorian armor. Following a tense confrontation, the Mandalorian agrees to trade the armor for the safety of Grogu. Two shuttles arrive, disgorging stormtroopers who attempt to capture Grogu. Honoring their agreement, Fett, Shand, and the Mandalorian join forces to harry the advancing stormtroopers, inflicting heavy casualties. Moff Gideon arrives in an Imperial starcruiser and destroys the Mandalorian ship Razor Crest from orbit. Gideon sends out four robotic dark troopers who kidnap Grogu and take him aboard their cruiser before fleeing. Fett and Shan agree to help the Mandalorian save Grogu to honor their debt. The Mandalorian seeks the now Marshal Cara Dune's help in breaking out the criminal Mayfield in order to track Gideon's cruiser and rescue Grogu. Impressed with Grogu's force powers, Gideon informs Dr. Pershing that the mid-chlorian donor is available. That is the plot to Season 2, Episode 6, Chapter 14, entitled The Tragedy. And it does mark the, we do know that Boba Fett made his appearance already, but here, a little bit of history, he actually tells Mando actually shows him a hologram showing his lineage, and that his father was Jango Fett, and he fought during the Clone Wars. So he does say, well, I guess the armor does belong to you. And I gotta say, this episode was excellent. And I thought that the episode with the debut of Ashoka Tano was the best episode. This one even tops that. Robert Rodriguez, brilliant director. From Dusk Till Dawn, what's his other movies? I mean, Spy Kids, Desperado. So many movies that he has done, that he has directed, and really, really did lend his style and his incredible, eye for vision. Good visuals, good direction, good, just the way that you expect Robert Rodriguez to, how he direct an episode of The Mandalorian. Looks like he fits. He totally fits into this whole scheme of how you should direct an episode of The Mandalorian. Really, really, just liked the visuals. I really, really liked what I saw. The acting, of course, was great. The fact that we see Fennec Shand, of course, played by Ming Na Wen, who, to me, does not seem to age. She is ageless. So beautiful, so talented, and such an amazing actress. I've watched all her stuff over the years, and it just gets better with age. She just continues to, how old is she now? In her early 50s, and still, she just looks great. And I love her character, and she actually shows that she was saved by Boba Fett, so she's in servitude to, and I guess that's a way for her to show her gratitude. I mean, why not? She was definitely left to die and wither away. It didn't look like she would make it out of there. In that episode, we saw what appeared to be a Mandalorian, or what appeared to be a, Mandalorian soldier or warrior, just kneel right by her, and then that was it. And then we didn't see her for a number of episodes, and here she is. But one of the things that really got my eye, and really I think this is so great, is the dynamic between Boba Fett, Mandalorian Mando, and the child Grogu. is they have such a incredible chemistry, a father and son type of relationship. Probably going to go down as one of the best duos in TV or cinema history. And I love how he's just still a child. He's still a baby. I mean, you know what I mean. And in the end, it's a powerful, being, an entity you know, is baby Grogu, but he's still a child. Like when he is cooing and gurgling and doing all of these types of sounds that a baby would make, a child would make. I love when he, of course, he had the ball, and at first didn't want to give it to Mando. Mando goes, "Come on, give it to me, come on, give it to me." And he takes it, and he goes, "Okay, like you practice," and has Grogu use his powers, and he does, and then he's like, "Yes," goes like this, or slaps his knee, and then Baby Grogu's like kind of taken aback and goes, "Oh no, no, I'm not mad at you," like because he was proud of him, like a proud father would of his child. And then when they realized that they couldn't get to the top or even land the top of the temple, you know, so it was pretty narrow, pretty small. So they said that you're gonna have to, fly up there, the whole, that whole narrow space. And as he is, uses his jetpack and they're sailing up, we call it, you hear baby Grago go, oh, like how a child would when the child's on a little fun ride. And I'm just so, God, he is such a child and it's so cute and it's so just, I just love it. I just love talking about the visuals of things that we see. We saw an Imperial cruiser. We saw, Jango Fett's, you know, his vessel, which is so like just iconic in itself. And then when you see him in his armor, then it just brings you back. And he's when you see him without it, he's scarred. And all like that. I mean, he was in the Sarlacc pit, and it says that you could live for years and years and decades in that thing and not die yet. So it probably was like the fact that the thing was eating all those other people that were in there, and he probably was gonna be next, and he's in there hanging in there. And I would love to see how he got out, like do a remake of that scene, and just show how he got out, and then what he's been doing since then. Guy can kick ass. He's still as an amazing fighter like he was, and I just like the feel of a western. That there are some scenes when they have like a picture of Mando staring off into the after the sunset, or he's looking around, or he's just standing there, and it just has that feel of a western. Like you can see the brightness around him, the sun, the sand, the desert sand, and all that stuff. And it's just like that's what people say that people say that about this thing, that it reminds them of that, and it does that for me too. I mean, I think that's the basic theme of this, is that it is like a western. It is set in a type of a western like atmosphere and a look and a time period and all that stuff. you know and I really do like that, seeing the Dark Troopers in action. Like they were the ones from the last scene from the last episode, episode 5. You see them all in a row, not yet deployed yet, or not yet fitted on soldiers. I don't know if those are robots or are those soldiers. I mean, whatever they are. But that right there was just like, it's a great. They didn't show how dangerous they could be, but they showed that as a unit, they're like together, they're one. Yep. They were sent out to get the baby. They got him and sent him to. They took him to Moff Gideon, and you see Baby Yoda, little Grogu there, just having his fun time, man. Just choking choking those suckers out, those 2 stormtroopers, and flinging them left and right, side to side, making them collide and stuff like that. And then you see Moff Gideon just giddy, like he's just standing back, walking, looking at him like just going, oh, this kid, he's very powerful. He's got some powers in him. He's something else. Look at this guy. And then I want to show you something. He shows him the dark saber, And then Grogu reaches out for. He's like, no, no, no. I think it's a little too powerful for you. I think you're gonna put an eye out if you open up one of these. You know what I mean? And then he tells one of the stormtroopers to put him to sleep. And then it's that blaster, but he puts it on. What do you call that phase? That thing where it's like, you know, I forgot. It's just on the tip of my tongue, but the name of that mode. That it's not lethal like a blaster, but it's that ring, and it just knocks him out. And you see him with those little cuffs on, and then Dr. Pershing, he calls the comms operator and tells her that once we get out of hyperspace, you know, contact or send an encrypted message to Dr. Pershing that we have the donor. I shudder to think what they're going to do to the little guy, and I hope he does get through to Mayfield, because he went to Cara Dune to get, Mayfield released. Mayfield, of course, is played by the great comic Bill Burr. Not only is a comic, but the guy can act. He was in Breaking Bad, and he's in his other stuff, and he can play a badass dude. He can play, and he does play one in this thing, and see what happens. He definitely going to probably in the next episode, and they're going to go after the child and make sure that they find him. And I hope so, because I hate to think of what's going to happen to the little guy unless they do get to him. But I enjoyed this episode, just for one, to see Boba Fett, for him to talk about his history just a little bit, but he brought up his father Django, and about the Clone Wars, and all this different things that you see, like I talked about before. You see the stormtroopers, you see an Imperial cruiser, you see Jango Fett's craft, his vessel. It's just like, did I say Jango or I said Boba? Let's say Boba Fett. And I like the fact that it does they harken back, and they do nods to the history of Star Wars. And of course, it's because it's produced and created by a true Star Wars fan, and that is Jon Favreau, who, I don't know what he did to get Kathleen Kennedy and all these other people to agree with him. He probably fought hard to get his vision and to be able to bring it back to Star Wars that we know. And I'm probably one in the minority, and that enjoyed the new trilogies. I enjoyed Rise of Skywalker more than I did the other two, but I understand why people were upset. And with The Mandalorian, you see a return to that. And of course, this is something that it takes place after the fall of the Empire and all that. So that's why they were so surprised. Like, even when Boba Fett talked about seeing an Imperial cruiser, those guys were like, Fennec and Mandalorian were like surprised, and Fennec was like saying, are you sure, and all this stuff, And so it's just great. It was just a great episode. The best episode, but probably next week's gonna be even better. I don't know, but I thought episode 5 was the best, and this one topped that. Even though, like I said, we saw the debut of an appearance of Ahsoka Tano, but this one we got to see Boba Fett, and we got to see him in all his glory, in his fighting form, and him talking, and bringing us back and bringing a little nostalgia back to Mandalorian. So you can't go wrong with this episode. This episode really laid a lot out there, and I'm glad I got to see what I saw. It just keeps the show going. And what's next? See, that's the question. What is next for the Mandalorian? Next week's episode is chapter 15, episode 7. Don't have the title yet, but we'll see what happens when it drops next week. And this, of course, was season 2, episode 6, the tragedy. I guess the tragedy was little guy was captured by the Empire. I hope he's gonna be okay. Hopefully, Mayfield will get sprung from prison. A little help from Cara Dune, and then him and the Mandalorian will be able to complete this mission. Because we all want to see the little guy come out come out of it in the end, safe and sound. And he has his powers. Doesn't have a full grasp on them, but I don't think he's a match for Moff Gideon. But Moff Gideon is one bad, you know what. So anyway, that is my recap and my thoughts on the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Enjoyed it thoroughly. The best episode so far this season. And we'll see you about next week. So for those of you who stopped by and checked out this video, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.